Hello again, and welcome to Winning with the Wrangler at Dick Powell's Leadership Corner, brought to you by Earth, Wind, Fire, Water Training and Development, where our passion is building leaders of today and tomorrow. Leaders, I'm going to step out on a limb today, and we're going to talk about inconsistent leadership. Inconsistent leadership. You see, the definition comes to us from the wonderful dictionary. Inconsistent means lacking in harmony between the different parts or elements, self-contradictory, not compatible with another fact or claim. Inconsistent. As leaders, this is going to be one of our biggest challenges, I believe. You see, the downside of leadership is that sometimes the leader is insistent in their own views, methods, or direction. They may find it difficult to follow the plan. It can be as simple as not really being in the mindfulness of a leader. The leader may even be inconsistent with the vision, the mission, the direction of the organization they are leading. An inconsistent leader may not really buy in to the organization's vision, mission, and direction. And those may be the things that include the interview process. We need to include those when we interview leaders. One of the things that we are learning, quite frankly, the hard way is when we interview leaders who to come into our organization, is that we have found that we really must write down the interview questions, write down the interviewer's answers, have everyone sign them at the end of the interview, and we hold on to them. If we hire that person, we have found that that's a necessary tool. You see, sometimes the leader feels responsible for all aspects of the organization and does not delegate tasks. The result may be that programs and activities do not happen or are canceled unless they are important to the leader. There may be no effort for the members to buy in or even help. Let me kind of go over that just a little bit and tell you why that's so important. As a leader, when you're in charge and you do it all yourself, you send an unwritten message, and that message is to all those around you, they're not needed. They're not smart enough. They don't have the ability, and only you can do it. When we don't delegate, when we don't share our leadership position, we have really turned off the people who we want to lead. And eventually, we'll turn around and there'll be no one there, and we'll have to do it all on our own because no one will be there. This thing of the programs, result, and activities do not happen or cancel happen when the leader only has an interest in what their interest is and not what the whole organization's interest is. And here's the deal. Organizations that add things, choices, opportunities, grow. Organizations that remove those and pare them down so there's no choices, there's only one opportunity, there's only one, there's not really a choice because there is nothing else to do. When they shut that down, when they don't follow the vision and mission that was set up by the organization, that's when we really start to see leadership go by the wayside and become dictatorship. We need to think about that at all times as leaders. As an inconsistent leader, An inconsistent leader may not even show up for scheduled meetings or activities. Or when they do, they're late or they're not prepared. The general agenda may not be followed when they do show up. They might jump all around and there might not be an agenda at all. The agenda may not even follow the customary format of either Robert's rules or some other organization's rules, but it just is willy-nilly. Or may change from each meeting, and the members never know how the meeting is going to go or how it's going to be constructed. So they don't know how to respond. When a leader's inconsistent, it really sends a message that they're not a leader. And not long before things start to fall apart. The reason we bring this to you today is that Robin and I are started to work with some organizations where we're seeing this as a constant situation. Very intelligent people, very talented people that just don't understand this leadership thing at all. They just think that they can come in and because they have a title and willy-nilly it through and shove things and make things happen against the will of the people around them. It just doesn't work. Of course, there's the leaders who just go with the flow or status quo. And you know what? They may be the way the inconsistent leader tends to go. Now, when Robin wrote that and brought it to me, I thought to myself, wow, that's a kind of a negative thing, but it's really true. Go with the flow or status quo may be the way inconsistent leader tends to go. Think about it. I'll bet you've all worked for someone or been with someone that's been their modus operandi. That's how they operate. But inconsistent leaders throw a whole monkey wrench into how the organization works because no one knows how or what's going to happen next. There's no consistency. You see, inconsistent leaders sometimes alter the decisions and expectations of the group without consulting the group members. Members may find all kinds of reasons to be absent from meetings when this starts to happen. In their minds is, why should I show up? They're going to make the decisions and then they're going to change them. So why should I need to be there? And all of a sudden, the inconsistent leader is by themselves. They ask the questions that people in the group, why spend time where whatever decisions are made are changed anyway? Now, I know that you've experienced this because we all have. And this is why we're talking about today. I hope you don't see yourself in what we're talking about, this inconsistent leader. But if you do, there's great hope because there's time to make some corrections in your style, in how you're doing, in your thinking. And you'll be surprised how this affects those around you because people do what people see and people repeat what people hear. You see, this whole piece of inconsistent leaders sometimes after the decisions and expectations of the group. Ah, man, when you change that after without even talking to them, it's just people will generally, fall away on the wayside. People will generally be who they are. I want you to think about that for a moment. Do not develop unrealistic expectations of new leaders' ability. Again, a thoughtful interview process is going to be very important. It's so important that I can't even go there without telling you some other stories, but we're going to hold that for a minute. You see, some leaders may seem to change their mind or lose direction after they're hired, after they're put into this opportunity. We might refer to this as the shiny ball syndrome. Whatever catches their fancy is how they think at the moment. they don't compare their thinking or their decisions with the vision and mission. And do they align? If they are somewhat inconsistent in their personal lives, this should be a telltale sign. And you need to ask how if they're inconsistent in their personal life, how does that translate into the leadership abilities? How will they lead? How will they react to situations? And what are the organization's expectations? I was just asked to be on the board of directors of an organization. And at my first meeting, I was welcomed in, and I sat through almost the whole meeting. There was no agenda. It was willy-nilly. And at the end of the meeting, they said, "Do you have any questions?" I said, "Well, yes. I don't know what the expectations are of me as a new board member. I don't know what the expectations are of me to you. And I don't know what your expectations are from you to me." The organization's president said, quite frankly, "We've never thought of that." I said, "So your board, you talked to me because you said you seem to get people on the board. They come and they stay a couple months and they leave, and then we have to take and reapply to the board." I said, "Did you ever wonder that if they don't have a job, if they don't feel involved, why would they stay? Why would they take time out of their world to come to the meeting if there was no agenda?" And so the president looked at me quite frankly and said, "I don't know if you're going to fit in here." I said, "Well, I don't know either." I said, "Because I need some expectations of what do you expect from me. Other boards, I've been expected to lay out some money to be a member of the board. Other boards I've been on, they've used my expertise in the coaching and building companies. I don't know what my expectation is here, other than to have my name on your plaque says I'm a board member." This thing also is this what we're talking about here is this shiny ball, and are they inconsistent in their personal lives? If you're putting someone in a high position as in leadership, you want to see them in different parts of their world. You want to see them at home. You want to see them out to dinner. You want to see them on the golf course or some other activity where they're not at work, and see how they react to different challenges and different situations. The scary part for a lot of times is some people will be one way at work, one way at home, one way when they're out, one way, and they're so inconsistent that no one knows how to read them or know what to expect if a situation or a crisis occurs. And that, my friends, is huge. And that's why we're bringing this to you today. This whole thing of inconsistent leadership. You see, it's more than just be doing it at work. If you're not a consistent parent, if you're not a consistent spouse, if you're not a consistent, worker or wherever you are, in profit, nonprofit, it doesn't matter. You have to decide who you are and what you're going to be and how you're going to do it. You have to have a set of values and morals and live by them. You have to be who you are. You can't be a chameleon. And what bothers me, what scares me, and the reason we're bringing this up today is that this is what we're seeing. We're seeing people who are told, "Fake it till you make it." Well, that's just bull hockey. You can't fake it till you make it, because when you fake it, everyone around you knows it. And I'll tell you what, they sign you off pretty gone quick. Here's the thing, though. We understand that consistency is the important first in parents, teachers, adult leaders of youth, as well as those adults we choose or are chosen to lead various organizations at all levels. We hope that the leader has been chosen or elected because of what they present to the public or those they are leading. We hope there has been an interview process to determine the gifts, talents, skills, and personal agenda of the leader, and to ensure the leader is in step with the organization. Those last two, I'm going to encourage you to take more time with. Make sure that you know that person's personal agenda and that they buy into and they understand the agenda of the organization. They understand the vision and the mission of what has been designed. And man, if they don't buy into that, you've got a problem. That's why you need to keep those interview questions. Sooner or later, the way they answer those will let you know whether or not they'll fit in, whether or not they believe in, or whether or not they buy into. It's better to find out at the beginning than at the end. It's so costly. If you're looking for leadership in your organization, it's so costly to go through this process and bring in the wrong person. It takes longer to get rid of them, and it costs a lot of money. I'm going to tell you what, this is where your board of directors needs to turn from board of directors to trustees. You see, trustees means they're entrusted with the organization and all the parts and pieces. And they're entrusted with the organization to see that it succeeds. They're entrusted with to ensure all the leadership understand and buy into the vision and the mission. You see, this is a different way of looking at it. Instead of board of directors, you have trustees, board of trustees. Totally different. But as you're going through this process, being consistent is the most important piece. Now, leaders, I'm going to share with you some ways, because we always do our best. When we bring a situation up, we do our best to give you some ways, if you've seen yourself into this conversation, to start anew. Put something different in your swagger. To just do it something different. And you know what? People can change. I truly believe they can, because I believe that every person is born with a leadership gene. And I believe that sometimes that leadership gene gets misconfused. But I believe everybody can come back to center. I truly do. Now, here's some things that I want you to think about, though. Consistent leaders. Okay? Consistent leaders, they do more than just talk the talk. They're more than just old windbags, standing up there just palavering and speaking and telling stories. They walk the walk. You see, there has to be some action, because action is the attraction. People do what people see. They see a leader who is inconsistent in their decision making. Guess what? They will be too. Everything be willy-nilly, and nothing's going to take a move ahead. And if it does, it's just going to be by the luck and grace of goodness. Consistent leaders are consistent in their talk and their walk. They do what they say they're going to do, how they're going to do it, and they stay in that zone. Both at home, at work, in between, doesn't matter. They're the same person wherever. Consistent leaders stay the course. That means through good times and bad times and everything, the challenges that come up in between, they make all their choices. They make all their decisions by looking at the mission and the vision. And do those decisions align with those things? Do they align with the corporation? And sometimes those are hard decisions, and trying to stay the course. Sometimes the leaders turn out to be not so liked at certain situations because they've had to make tough choices, tough decisions. But when they're made through that optical lens of your vision and your mission, you'll find it not only easier, but the people around you will come to understand that you're consistent in your decision making. You're consistent by staying the course. That even when hard things are having to be made, you've stayed the course. You've looked out for all of the people. All of the people. You know, as leaders, we are in charge of organizations, charge of companies. It's not just you that you're making a decision for. You're making a decision for all the people there and the people that they're associated with. You know, I used to drive me nuts when someone would make a decision and I would say, well, gee, that's not a good decision for that person's family or their children or their children's children. And they would say, well, we don't care. Boy, I'm going to tell you what, that'd send me right off the roof. Stay the course. Make sure you're looking at everything through that lens of the mission and vision. Consistent leaders are always open to new ideas and growth. You know, they're not stuck. They're not stuck in a situation where nothing's going to go and grow. They understand that new ideas bring growth. They understand that new ideas mean some risk. They understand that being able to try something different is good. It's more than just what? Being the same over and over. I don't know if I can just put this as any other way. People that go and grow know. And when they know, they can share. But if that's not encouraged from the leadership side of the house consistently, that we are always looking for you to grow in your personal as the company, you're going to find that that's, going to be the best way to live. When you encourage people to grow personally, the company will grow by itself. Consistent leaders are open to new ideas and growth in themselves and in others. Consistent leaders make all their decisions through the eye of the vision. When we make big decisions here in our organization, we look at the vision and say, does this decision, will it align with where we want to be? Our vision, what's our end big picture, our picture of the company, a picture of our organization, a picture of our family. Does it align with that? And recently we've had to turn down some, what people said were huge opportunities, but they didn't align to our company's vision and mission. They did not align with my personal vision and mission at all. They meant that I would have to go against my values, and I hold those dearly. The people that we wanted us to come work for them, they have found someone else now, and I wish them well. But you need to look at all decisions through the eye of the vision. If you heard nothing else today, I want you to look at that. Consistent leaders, they include the membership in big decisions and communicate even the small ones. By that I mean that on large decisions that are going to affect the whole community of the business, the organization, the family, everyone needs to be brought in and given an opportunity to understand and to also voice maybe what's going on and be a part of that decision. You see, when that happens, everybody has a buy-in piece to it. Even if they find themselves disagreeing with it, they know they've had a piece of the decision-making process, the discernment process. Inconsistent leaders just go out there and make the decision and don't tell anybody about it until it's over. It's a terrible way to run an organization. It's a terrible way to run a family. I'm going to encourage you that no matter what the decisions, even the small decisions, are communicated to everyone within the organization. It could be that we've changed a distributor to take and buy our pencils. It could be as small as that. But let everybody know, hey, we've changed distributors and here's why. We either bought them cheaper or we had a better product. whatever it is, let everybody know. When we don't communicate to everyone, top, bottom, in between, everywhere, when we don't communicate decisions, the silent message it sends is that you didn't need to know. And when people get this vision of you didn't need to know, they make up their own answers to why. And when people make up their own answers, I'm going to tell you what happens. They repeat them often enough, it becomes true. Whether it is true or not, they're repeated enough, it can become true. So, we met with an organization here, and their organization had in the past had a once a month, just a quick overview of what the committee or directors were doing and how it was doing and how the organization was running, and people were interested. A new leader came in and shut that down. He said the people didn't need to know how the organization was operating. They were just ready to come to work. We just want them to come to work. The people revolted. They rebelled. And it did because they were interested in what was going on in the company. They were part of it. So communicate even the smallest thing. It'll keep you on a better, even keel. Consistent leaders, they listen to all members. Now, I'm going to tell you this. They listen to all members. They learn from all of those around them. I'm going to tell you what. You want to be a consistent leader. You want to know what's going on in your organization, in your family. You have to listen. Leaders that listen learn. And leaders that listen and learn are able to make better decisions, better choices. They're able to help those around them also make better decisions and better choices. Consistent leaders consistently face challenges head on with the insight of the complete group. Now that means that this leader has to be able to go out and build relationships with people in the group. They have to be able to listen to those people in the group and then go back and face the challenge. Now, leaders, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that all challenges are going to be easy. They're not, especially when we come to the financial as well as the personal people part of our organizations. Those are not some easy decisions made in today's time. But if we're communicating and we're sharing, we're going on, we're making sure that everyone's a part of the decision making, it'll be much easier on you. And that's why we say consistent leaders do more than talk the talk, they walk the walk. They stay the course. They're open to new ideas and growth, both personally and others. They make decisions through the eye of the vision, and they stay on that. They include the membership in big decisions and communicate even the small decisions to the entire population. They listen to all members, learning from all those around them. And they face challenges head on. Now, I know this has been an interesting discussion today because this thing of inconsistent leaders, first of all, seems like an oxymoron. I mean, you think every leader should be consistent, but none of us are, just so you know. Do the best you can and be the best you can. That's the whole thing. Now, on behalf of myself, Dick Powell, and the whole Leadership Corner team, we want to say thank you for being a part of today's program. Our hope is that you have received a nugget of wisdom and guidance that will help you build your leadership ability. Now, if you have any questions or comments on today's program, don't hesitate. Send me an email, dick@leadershipwrangler.com, dick@leadershipwrangler.com. Go on the website, set your appointment with us at www.leadershipwrangler.com. Or you know what, if it's a burning desire and you need to speak about it today, right now, just call me, 727-422-1833, 727-422-1833. And when your organization is ready to move ahead with leadership and accountability, make sure you're giving the Leadership Wrangler a call and we'll be at your side. Until next time, this is Leadership Wrangler saying, ride hard, ride fast.